So we can discuss few verses. Uh, I think there are only three verses, right, to discuss. 19 to 17 to 19. But we can go beyond a little bit, right?
Right, right. Yes, Prabhu. We can go beyond.
Beyond also, right?
Yes, Prabhu. So, live stream has been, yes, I see it on YouTube, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Is working?
Yeah, yeah, I can see.
Okay. So, yeah. So Maharaj Pariksit, we know the background. He has been cursed, so he left everything behind and he went to the bank of the Ganges. Sometimes Jiva Goswami says in one purport that he was on the bank of Yamuna, but here in the verse it says he's on the bank of the Ganges. So whatever it is, he went to a holy river, either Ganges or Yamuna, although Yamuna is more potent than Ganges. Prabhupada says, how many times more potent? 100 times or 1,000 times more potent than the Ganges, something like that.
100 times.
Huh?
100 times.
100 times more potent.
Varaha Purana.
In the Varaha Purana, Jiva Goswami quotes that. So, anyhow, we would think he's in Hastinapur, and Hastinapur, Yamuna is flowing, right, in Delhi. So, we would think Yamuna. But here it says on the bank of the Ganges. So Maharaj Parikshit went to the bank. It doesn't matter wherever he was if he was on the bank of the Ganges or Yamuna. It's a technical detail, and different acharyas may say differently. But the main thing is that he renounced everything. He gave up everything because he wanted to prepare for his upcoming exam, the exam of death. So he wanted to absorb fully in Krishna. So that's why he gave up all other duties and he came to the bank of Ganges. And because he came on the bank to the bank of Ganges, he being such a great devotee and the emperor of the whole world, all the great sages started also coming to assist him, to see, to encourage him. And later on, Shukdev Goswami will come also. They were deciding what should now Maharaj Parikshit do. Maharaj Parikshit is asking the question, what should he do, because he's about to die. He has only 7 days left. So what should he do? So then, of course, Shukdev Goswami, they unanimously agreed that Shukdev Goswami is the one, because he is very exalted. He is the one who can uh, give the answer, and he can do whatever is necessary. So that's how Maharaj Parikshit is there, and then this is in that context. In perfect self-control, we can read the verse. Iti sma raja dhya vashaya yuktaha prachina muleshu kusheshu dhiraha udan mukho dakshina kula aste samudra patnya swasuta nyasta bharaha. In perfect self-control, Maharaj Parikshit sat down on a seat of straw placed on the southern bank of the Ganges, with the straw roots pointing east, and he himself faced the north. Just previously, he had given charge of his kingdom over to his son. So Maharaj Parikshit's son is Janmajay, and he had given the charge of his kingdom to Janmajay, and he came to the bank of Ganges. He's sitting down on a straw, and the straw's roots are pointing east, and he is facing north. And he is self-controlled, perfectly self-controlled. He is a great devotee, so he is self-controlled. The great devotees of the Lord are very self-controlled. The river Ganges is celebrated as the wife of the sea. A seed of kusha straw is considered to be sanctified if the straw is taken out of the earth, complete with roots, and pointing the roots towards the east is considered to be auspicious. So these are technical details of what is considered auspicious. In one sense, yeah, you can consider this, but for devotees, everything is auspicious. Whether he sits down facing north or south or wherever, as long as he's absorbed in Krishna, everything is auspicious. But let's see what Prabhu says. Facing the north is still more favorable for attaining spiritual success. Sometimes in Vastu Shastra, we say, okay, the entrance should face this direction, the kitchen should be in this direction. That is all right. But for devotees, everything is auspicious. Of course, now we may say we are not at that level of devotee. But Prabhupada, he did not, when he was spreading Krishna consciousness, whatever churches were available, and he used that to serve Krishna. So as long as we have pure intention to serve Krishna, then everything is auspicious. We may follow all this Shastra, the direction, but we should not get caught up in this and, in the rituals and things like that. So going north is always favorable for spiritual advancement, because north means the Himalayas. So after the Pandavas also gave their kingdom to Maharaj Pariksit, and they also started traveling north. Himalayas means the sages are there, and it's the sign of renunciation, facing north, going towards the north. So towards the end of life, one gives up everything else and becomes absorbed in Krishna. So they go to the Himalayas, which was in previous times they used to do that. Not in this age. In this age, we don't have to go to a secluded place like the Himalayas or anything. We can go to Vrindavan. Prabhupada says we have our Krishna Balram Mandir and in Vrindavan, especially for those who want to retire and who want to come here and spend the last years of their life absorbed in Krishna, doing devotional service. So that is why. That is how the devotees are supposed to. Previously, they used to do meditation in a secluded place. Krite yadhyayato Vishnu, tretayam jajato makhai, dvapare paricharyayam kalota dhari kirtanat. So, but in this age, we just have to chant Hare Krishna. And even we may be in Columbus, Ohio, we can be in Vrindavan. If we are chanting Hare Krishna, we are serving Krishna. We are in the temple associated. The temple is also Vrindavan. So like that. So facing the north is still more favorable for attaining spiritual success. Maharaj Pariksit handed over the charge of administration to his son before leaving home. He was thus fully equipped for all favorable conditions. Like Bhishma Dev was also waiting for Krishna to come. Uttarayan, he was waiting till the sun changes its direction. And in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 8, it is described that the yogi, when he leaves the body, when the sun is traveling in this direction, then it is very auspicious. It does not come back. But then Prabhupada says, this is not consideration for devotees. For devotees, they are absorbed in Krishna, so it doesn't matter when they leave or when they are born. It is all auspicious. So he was thus fully equipped for all favorable conditions. Okay, but he did whatever he had to do to make it favorable. So anybody has any comments? There is nothing more I can say on this. Does anyone like to say anything?
So, Prabhu, I have a question.
Yeah.
You know the significance of kusha straw? Why it's so auspicious? Because we see that even if there are any yajnas, the priest has to sit on it, or if there is any altar service, the pujaris have to use that. They don't like to use any other thing.
Yeah, I don't know why kusha grass is considered very auspicious. Maybe there is some characteristic. But we are not supposed to perform all those yajnas in this age. We are supposed to do Sankirtan yajna. So, technically we cannot get everything right for the yajna in this age. So, there are so many requirements for doing yajnas and things like that. But there may be some reason, I don't know. So I don't worry about for personally, as long as we follow the acharyas, we follow the morning program, we chant Hare Krishna, we read Srimad Bhagavatam, we are engaged in spreading of Krishna consciousness movement. Then these are all technical details. These are not really so relevant for our spiritual life.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Okay, because the yogis, they sit down and do meditation and stuff. So it says that the kusa grass keeps away the snakes and things like that.
That is the skin of the deer, that they sit on that skin of the deer, which repels.
Okay, not the kusa grass.
Yeah. So kusha grass also is like that. I don't know, but I've heard about the skin. They sit on the deer skin, which repels all crawling insects.
I heard somewhere. I read somewhere, but something like this.
We are not going to sit on a deer skin or do all this kusha grass, so it's not relevant for us. Correct?
I don't know. I just read somewhere, so I don't know.
Okay. So, but it is nice to know if somebody has, so it's kusha grass. Kusha straw is considered, if the straw is taken out of the earth. Now somebody has said, while pointing towards the roots, pointing towards the east is considered to be auspicious. So, Prabhupada is saying that kusha straw is considered to be sanctified if the straw is taken out of the earth, complete with roots, and pointing the roots towards the east. Okay, so.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I like the point that here, the last point in this purport is mentioned that Maharaj Pariksit handed over the charge administration to his son before leaving home. So this shows that how Pariksit Maharaj was completely detached. Although he was pretty young and he has a kingdom to rule and he was like great king that time. But still he was, when he heard this news, and then he was completely attached for the Lord, and he detached everything behind, and all the sages, and he just just absorbed in the thought of Lord, and all the sages, it's like a favorable condition for him, right? So just to facilitate going back, attaining the Supreme Lord. So one should learn that one should be detached from all these worldly affairs, whatever comes in our way.
Yes. Thank you. We can read the next verse. Anything else? Okay. Evam cha tasmin naradeva deve prayo pavishte divi deva sangaha prashasya bhumo vyakiran prasuner muda muhurdundu bhayascha neduhu. Thus the king Maharaj Pariksit set to fast until death. All the demigods of the higher planets praised the king's actions and in pleasure continually scattered flowers over the earth and beat celestial drums. So demigods are very happy. So let's read. Because Maharaj Pariksit has decided to renounce everything and absorb himself in Krishna. So the demigods are very happy and they showered flowers and they were beating celestial drums. Even up to the time of Maharaj Pariksit, there were interplanetary communications, and the news of Maharaj Pariksit's fasting unto death to attain salvation reached the higher planets in the sky. So they could communicate between different planets. Like now we have Chandrayaan on the moon. Maybe there's some communication. Of course, whether it has gone to the moon or not, all this is there. But there was interplanetary communication. Prabhupada is saying that the news of Maharaj Pariksit coming to the bank of Ganges to fast until death reached all the demigods living in the other planets, in the heavenly planets and others. And How it reached, I don't know. Where the intelligent demigods live. The demigods are more luxurious than human beings. But all of them are obedient to the orders of the Supreme Lord. So the demigods' position, they are in heavenly planets. They have much opulence. One time Prabhupada says, demigods don't like to come to earth, even to pass urine, because it is so bad place. It's like a slum for them, because they are living in such opulence. They don't like to come. Of course, we have a verse in the Bhagavatam which says the demigods want to take birth on earth because they want to take part in the Sankirtan movement and perfect their life. In the heavenly planets, the pleasure is so much that they are not able to concentrate on the Supreme Lord. So our planet Earth is the best place to practice spiritual life. Sometimes those who are on earth, they want to go to heaven because they think they do karma kanda, they want to go to heaven and they want to enjoy. And the demigods, they want to come to earth so that they can participate in Sankirtan movement like that. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, so many demigods came in disguise. And Sachi Mata, and they had a festival. And so many demigods, and they were looking at all these people and they said, we never saw them in our village. Who are these people? They are coming. But they had all come, the demigods had disguised and had come to offer respects to Nimai, who was the Supreme Lord. Even when Mahaprakash Lila was going on, they were doing Abhishek of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And all demigods also took that opportunity. They came in disguise and they stood in the line to do the Abhishek of Mahaprabhu. The demigods are also devotees of the Lord. They have material desires, Prabhupada says. They are not fully pure. They are devotees, they are favorable, but they also have desires to lord it over material nature. So Krishna has given them that kind of, position. So, but asuras also are like very expert at manipulating the material energy, but they are not devotees. So there is a verse like that. What is that? I forget. They are favorable to the Supreme Lord, whereas asuras are not favorable to the Supreme Lord. So, anyhow, they are devotees with material desires. Sometimes they are envious also. The demigods are envious because if somebody will do austerity, like Indra especially, Prithu Maharaj was doing austerity of 100 Ashwamedh Yagnas, and then Indra became very disturbed. So they are also very attached to their position of enjoyment, and they don't want somebody else to become more powerful and take their position. So somebody is doing karma kanda to attain heavenly planets, then the demigods try to put obstacle on that path. So, because this material world, Prabhupada says, is characterized by envy. Everybody is envious of each other, and everybody wants to lord it over others. Everybody wants to think that they are on the top. Whereas Bhagavatam is meant for those who are non-envious. Dharma projita kaitava atro paramo nirmat saranam satam. Matsarya is envy. Nirmat sara, those who are non-envious in heart. A devotee, here the demigods are devotees, and that part of, they are feeling very happy that Pariksit Maharaj is also, becoming absorbed in Krishna, he's intensifying his devotional service. So they are very happy and they are showering flowers. Sometimes the demigods are envious also. If somebody wants to take their position, then they send obstacles. But here that part of demigods is emphasized, where they are actually feeling very happy. The demigods are more luxurious than human beings, but all of them are obedient to the orders of the Supreme Lord. So one can live in opulence and luxury, but be favorable to the Supreme Lord. Of course, they have material desires to lord it over. They are sakama bhaktas. Prabhupada says they are sakama bhaktas. Demigods are devotees with material desires. So whenever there is some disturbance, they immediately go to the Lord for, when some king or somebody, demoniac king, like Kansa or something, they immediately go to the Lord so that their enjoyment is not disturbed. So, and then the Lord favors them because they are devotees. But a Kama devotee, they never disturb the Lord, even in the difficulty. Prabhupada writes one place. Because they just simply accept everything as Lord's mercy. And they think, why should I disturb the Lord? I will continue with my devotional service. So, there is no one in the heavenly planets who is an atheist or non-believer. So they are all accepting the Lord's supremacy, the demigods. Thus, any devotee of the Lord on the surface of earth is always praised by them. And in the case of Maharaj Pariksit, they were greatly delighted and thus gave tokens of honor by scattering flowers over the earth and by beating celestial drums. So they were very happy at Maharaj Parikshit's, he's going to get success in human life. The demigods take pleasure in seeing someone go back to Godhead. They are always pleased with a devotee of the Lord, so much so that by their Adidevic powers, they help the devotee in all respects. And by their actions, the Lord is pleased with them. So because the demigods are helping a devotee by their mystic powers, the Lord also becomes pleased with the demigods. Because if you help a Vaishnava, if you serve a Vaishnava, if you feel happy on seeing another devotee make spiritual advancement, then the Lord also becomes pleased with you. If somebody is getting more, recognition as a great devotee, then the devotee should feel happy. Oh, he's done such wonderful service that, he is getting such recognition, not to feel envious. Then the Lord is also pleased with such a devotee. One who takes pleasure in serving the devotees of the Lord, then, and appreciating the devotees of the Lord also becomes pleased by such consciousness. In fact, Krishna says, those who are devotees of my devotees, they are my devotees. Prabhupada writes also, the service of Vaishnavas is more valuable than the service of the Lord. Aradhanam sarvesham Vishnur aradhanam param tasmat parataram devi tadyanam samarchanam. Lord Shiva tells Parvati, of all kinds of worship, Vishnu worship is the best, but better than worship of Vishnu is the worship of his devotee. Tadya means paraphernalia, and the Lord's devotees are considered the paraphernalia of Lord Vishnu. So like that. Even in the Mukunda Mala Stotra, right? There is a verse, Majjanmana phalamidam madhukaita bhare mat prarthaniya madanugraha esha eva tvad bhritya bhritya paricharat bhritya bhritya bhrityasya bhritya iti mam smaralokanatha. So in 7 times, bhritya means servant. So King Kulashekar is saying that Mad janma phalam idam madhu kaitabare. O enemy of the Madhu and Kaitab demon, my life will be considered successful when you will consider me. My prayer is that you will mad prarthaniya mad anugraha esheva. My prayer is that when you will consider me as the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of your devotee, like that. So of your servants, then I will consider that is my perfection of life. So Narottam Das Thakur also, Prabhupada would quote this, Chhadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistar Payeche Keba. Without serving a Vaishnava who has attained perfection. So there are so many pastimes that come to mind, about Vaishnava Seva. We know Narad Muni, how he became Narad Muni, because he served the Bhakti Vedantas and he took their remnants. Then we have Dukhi in Mahaprakash Leela. Right? She was, being a lady, she was not able to do Abhishek directly of the Supreme Lord, but she was assisting all the other devotees in arranging the pots, and bringing the water from the Ganga to do the Abhishek. And she was facilitating the service of others to the Lord. And Lord Chaitanya, first of all, in the Mahaprakash Lila, he told Srivas Thakur, who is that lady there? And she was nowhere close to Mahaprabhu. But Mahaprabhu knows everything because he's the super soul in the heart. So he said, who is that lady there who is doing service? And of course, we know Srivas Thakur said, oh, she's the maid servant in the house. We call her Dukhi. So Mahaprabhu said, no, Dukhi, miserable. No, this doesn't sit well in my heart. I will call her Sukhi from now on. And he gave her the name Sukhi. And Sukhi means happy, and he gave her ecstatic love of Godhead. So she was serving the Vaishnavas. She was not in forefront, but doing silent service, devotional service, in assisting the Vaishnavas, and she got the mercy of Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu himself says, Naham, what is that? Naham, how does it start? Naham. Kintu prodyan nikhila paramananda purnavritabdir gopi bharto naham varni chanarapatir napi vaishya naham vipro nacha. Yeah, so he said, I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a this, I'm not this, I'm the servant of the servant of the servant. So this is actually the mood. So the demigods, because they were very happy they were praising Maharaj Pariksit, who's a pure devotee. Then the Lord also became pleased with them. So Vaishnav Seva is very potent. And Bhagavatam says, those who have very meager austerity, they do not get the chance to worship a Vaishnava. They serve a Vaishnava. So there's a verse like that. Persons who have meager austerity, who have not a lot of transcendental credit, they don't get such chance to serve the Vaishnavas. So, but of course we know service to Vaishnavas is of two types. One is Vapu Seva and one is Vani Seva. So Vani Seva was also Vaishnav Seva. This is the verse, let me see if I can, 3:7:20. Pull this up. Canto 3, chapter 7, verse 20. Durapahi alpa tapasa seva vaikuntha vartmashu yatropagiyate nityam deva devo janardanaha. Persons whose austerity is meager can hardly obtain the service of pure devotees who are progressing on the path of back to kingdom of God at the Vaikunthas. Pure devotees engage 100% in glorifying the Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of the demigods and the controller of living entities. So, the path of liberation, as recommended by all authorities, is to serve the Mahatma, transcendentalist. As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the Mahatmas are the pure devotees who are on the path to Vaikuntha, the kingdom of God, who always chant and hear the glories of the Lord, rather than talk of dry, profitless philosophy. So Prabhupada says here, even if one has no assets of favorable austerity, if he nevertheless takes shelter of the Mahatmas, who are engaged in chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord, he is sure to make progress on the path back home, back to God. So even if we have not so many qualifications, but if we engage in the service of the Mahatmas, and again that is Vapu and Vani, but yeah, then we will make progress. And according to our energy, whatever we can do, we have to employ whatever energy we have in Krishna's service. There's a nice quote I got from Bhakti Vikas Maharaj today. He says, the more we struggle for advancing our Krishna consciousness movement, the more we become advanced on the path. So the more we like to spread Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada is in the letter is saying, more we struggle to push on this Krishna consciousness movement, the more we become advanced. Really, devotional service means that we have to employ our energies for the purpose of Krishna consciousness And it does not matter what is the volume of such energy, because different persons have got different types of energies. Like we say Hanuman and the squirrel. They were both using their energies to build the bridge. But the best means is that one has to apply his energy as far as possible. That is the secret of success in Krishna consciousness. It does not mean that one has to acquire the energy of an elephant or one has to become very learned or intelligent man. Simply one has to become sincere and employ whatever energy he has in his possession in the service of the Lord. That is the secret of success in Krishna consciousness. So we have to do our best, and my best may not be your best, but that doesn't matter. Your best may be much better than my best, but as long as I'm trying with my energy, whatever Krishna has given me, I'm trying to serve the Vaishnavas, and then success is there. So there is an invisible chain of complete cooperation between the Lord, the demigods, and the devotee of the Lord on earth. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the 3rd chapter, Krishna is saying that, how man and demigods can be happy by performance of sacrifices. That men perform sacrifices, demigods, and demigods will supply all the necessities of life, like that. So, one who takes the necessities of life without paying back to the demigods is a thief. Stena eva saha, he says. Yeah. So if it's like, you use electricity but you don't pay your bill, then you're a thief. Right? So you use water, you use electricity, but we don't have to pay every demigod. There is a demigod in charge of rain, there is a demigod in charge of air. We just serve Krishna. Sankirtan Yagna. If we do Sankirtan Yagna, then all the demigods, Yatha Taror Mula Nishichanena, Tripyanti Tatskanda Bujopashaka, Pranopaharacha Yathendriyanam, Tathevas, Sarvaharanam Achyutaijya. So, by worshipping Krishna, you don't have to worship this demigod and that demigod, and everybody is satisfied. So, just pour water on the root of the tree, everybody is satisfied. So, just by chanting Hare Krishna, spreading this Krishna consciousness movement, Sankirtan Yagna, then everything is achieved. So otherwise, we have to do this yagna to this demigod and this, then there are 330 million demigods, right? So how can we satisfy all of them? So, but by just worshipping Krishna, everything is achieved. Okay, anybody like to say anything?
Yes, Prabhu. So this is a very interesting statement by Prabhupada that in heavenly planets there is nobody who is an atheist or non-believer. So does it mean that everybody is a devotee or everybody is favorable?
Yeah, they accept the supremacy of the Lord, but they have material desires to enjoy. So they are not pure devotees. So yeah, they accept that. Yeah, like we have this verse, right? Ete chan shakala pumsam krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakulam loke mridayanti yuge yuge. So when the enemies of Indra disturb, they create a disturbance, then Krishna advents. He comes. So Indra is a devotee, and whenever there is he feels disturbed, he goes to Brahma, and then everybody goes to Krishna, and then Krishna advents himself. But they are also attached to their position because they want to enjoy. So they become also very, disturbed when somebody does a yagna. So, so they are not pure devotees. They are considered as sakama bhaktas. But they are favorable. Let me show you something what Prabhupada says here.
And then there are 33 crore demigods, right? So, and that is not the complete population of heavenly planets. It must be more than that. But these 33 crores are maybe closer to pure devotees because they are serving the Lord's, right? And they're the agents.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Here Prabhupada says in Canto 6, there are two kinds of devotees known as Sakama and Akama. Pure devotees are Akama, whereas devotees in the upper planetary system, such as the demigods, are called Sakama because they still want to enjoy material opulence. Because of their pious activities, the Sakama devotees are promoted to higher planetary systems, but at heart, they still desire to lord it over the material resources. The Sakama devotees are sometimes disturbed by the demons and Rakshasas, but the Lord is so kind that He always saves them by appearing as an incarnation. So, like that, Prabhupada is saying. The difference between Sakama and Akama devotees is that when Sakama devotees, like the demigods, fall into difficulty, they approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead for relief. Whereas Akama devotees, even in the greatest danger, never disturb the Lord for material benefits. Even if an Akama devotee is suffering, he thinks this is due to his past impious activities and agrees to suffer the consequences. He never disturbs the Lord. Sakama devotees immediately pray to the Lord as soon as they are in difficulty. But they are regarded as pious because they consider themselves fully dependent on the mercy of the Lord. Like Chaturvida Bhajande Mam Jana Sukritino Arjuna Arthu Jigyasu Arthadi Gyanisha Paradarshapa. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Tatenu Kampam Susamikshamano Gunjana Evatma Kritam Vipakam Hridvag Vapurbir Vidadan Namaste Jivetayo Mukti Padesadaya Bhav. Even while suffering in the midst of difficulties, devotees simply offer their prayers and service more enthusiastically. In this way, they become firmly fixed in devotional service and eligible to return home back to Godhead. So this is talking about the Akama devotees. Without doubt. Sakama devotees, of course, achieve from the Lord the results they desire from their prayers, but they do not immediately become fit to return to Godhead. So, because they have their desires, so Krishna is fulfilling their desires. But they are, because they are devotees, sometimes they also take pleasure. Yes, here they are taking pleasure in Maharaj Pariksit going back to Vaikuntha, back to Godhead. The demigods take pleasure in seeing someone go back to Godhead. Okay, so.
And I think it's because the devotees, the demigods, are non-envious to Lord, right? Because envious is a characteristic in the material world, and it says that, like, if you have any other anartha, we can, of course, without anartha, we can go to the spiritual world. But envy means no vacancy in the spiritual world, or so the demigods, and even that's why Krishna also said that in Bhagavad Gita also, because he says that this, uh, secret knowledge or ancient knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, because he was non-envious and his friend and devotee also, right? Bhaktosini Sakhakyati. So yeah, that's a characteristic of the demigods.
Yeah. Ultimately, they also want to enjoy. So, as long as you have desire to enjoy, there is enviousness. And because we have come to this material world to enjoy independently of the Lord, we say, Ichha Dvesha Samuthena Dvandama. We may be devotees, but we also have our separate desires to enjoy in this material world. We want to become happy, materially speaking. So that is the situation with the demigods. They are devotees, they accept the Lord's supremacy, but they are not fully pure that they accept that, oh, it is, I will only for Krishna's enjoyment. In Krishna's enjoyment lies my enjoyment. They are not fully in that consciousness because they also want to enjoy, and yeah. So that's what Prabhupada says.
But they're more they are doing more austerities, and that's why I go to the heaven.
They are pious. The pious people get the position of demigods, but yeah. So, but pure devotee is even higher than the demigods because he has no material desires, and he's completely surrendered to the Lord. So.
I wanted to ask, is it true that all the 33 crore devtas are all the gods, demigods, and all those, they are in the cow? Like they are in. They say that the cow has all the 33 crore devi devtas. So is it true? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, they say like that. I've also heard that. Yeah.
Is that why Krishna serves the cow? Like, he protects the cows and everything.
Not cow is very dear to Krishna. Why is cow very dear to Krishna? That is the question. So whether demigods reside there in the cow, that's, yeah, it could be, but the cow is giving so much. Prabhupada says cow is very useful animal. Cows give so much service, eats grass and gives us nutritious milk. Milk is very essential for developing finer brain tissues, for understanding spirituality. So that all these things, you could say, why cows are dear to Krishna? What is the answer? Why other animals are not? Why we say Govinda? Why don't we say Gopal? Right? Everything is related to the cows. Of course, everybody is dear to Krishna. All the jivas are dear to Krishna, but the cows are especially dear to Krishna. Namo Brahmanyaya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishna Govindaya. Because the cows, at least when Krishna was in Vrindavan, he said, the cows are giving us all the. We should worship not Indra, but we should worship the cows, the Govardhan hill, because they are supplying our necessities. And like that, they are. Any other thought anybody has?
Cow is also one of the mothers, one of the 7 mothers that Vedas talk about. No other animal is in there. But again, like you said, because cow has cow provides all the necessary things to maintain and enhance our not just material life but even spiritual life, and it gives milk, butter, ghee. All of that can be used in different offerings to the Lord. Even cow dung, cow urine. I was thinking of the previous, the 17th verse when we were discussing about, the technicalities, all the straw and directions and stuff like that. So I was thinking of this also, that, even cow dung, cow urine that we say that is so auspicious. We sometimes say that, stool is bad, right? We say it's muchi. But when it comes to cow dung, it's so pure that we even use in the yajnas and stuff like that. So slowly the doctors and scientists are catching up to that yes, they have the antiseptic properties and stuff like that. So they are accepting it, that yes, it is not like the ordinary other living entities too. It is special.
Yeah, this is hugging the cow also cures depression, something like that. Some place they are doing.
Yeah.
Huh?
And also, if you look at this, like the other, Samoham Sarvabhute, so is every living entity is dear to Krishna, but he says that those who are. But if you look at the cows, everything, as Prabhuji was saying, that everything is for others, not for herself, right? And what Prachi was saying, that's what I also heard, that the cows is considered as the mother of all the 33 crores demigods. And I don't know, is there any linkage or not, but Brahma, when Brahma got, like, when he was like, have, I don't know, it was like, something is, who took the form of a cow is, and then Brahma was very much, bewildered and in lusty form, right? And he took a form of a bull, I guess. He wanted. There's something there's a description. Yeah.
Earth went to Brahmadev to describe the level and the intensity of the sins that had increased on Earth, and I think that is the story, if I'm not wrong. Is that correct, Prabhuji?
Yeah, it may be correct. Yes. Okay, I was looking at worshipping the cows here. So it says, the Vedic scriptures state that all demigods and demigoddesses reside in the body of a cow. This explains why the body of a cow is divine and holy. If we worship Mother Cow, we attain the same material benefits we get by worshipping the demigods and demigoddesses individually. That's why the Garuda Puran says that anyone who has even worshipped once Mother Cow will be saved from death after the great suffering of hell. Saved after death from the great suffering of hell. Lord Krishna, Supreme Personality of God, gave importance to the worship of cows than to the worship of kings of demigods Indra. Therefore, in India, even today, millions of, okay. So, yeah, cow is giving so many things for our sustenance, materially and spiritually. So that is why, so, okay, we will take the next verse. This is the last verse, or we are done? We are done?
We have 19 to
19.
go, right?
19 we have to do, okay. Maharshayo vai sampugataye prashasya sadva iti anumodamanaha uchu prajanugraha shila sara yaduttama shloka gunabhirupam. All the great sages who were assembled there also praised the decision of Maharaj Pariksit, and they expressed their approval by saying, very good. So, what is good? That he came to the bank of Ganges and he gave up his kingdom and everything. Naturally, the sages are inclined to do good to common men, for they have all the qualitative powers of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they were very much pleased to see Maharaj Pariksit, a devotee of the Lord, and they spoke as follows. So all the sages were feeling very happy that Maharaj Pariksit has become so absorbed now. He's going to give up everything, and he has become absorbed. So the natural beauty of a living being is enhanced by rising up to the platform of devotional service. So we become very happy. Natural beauty means our happy situation is enhanced when we surrender to the Lord, when we take up devotional service. Then we naturally become very joyful. So by surrendering to Krishna and by turning away from Krishna, we become very morose and very depressed and unhappy. The more we turn to Krishna, because that is our natural position. So Prabhupada is saying, natural beauty of a living being is enhanced by rising up to the platform of devotional service. Prabhupada says we become bright-faced and very happy and joyful. Maharaj Pariksit was absorbed in attachment for Lord Krishna. So from the very birth, he was saved by Krishna, and he was examining everybody. Oh, is this the person who saved me in the womb? That's why he's called Pariksit. So he had seen Krishna in the womb. Seeing this, the great sages assembled were very pleased, because he was absorbed in attachment to Lord Krishna. And they expressed their approval by saying, very good. Such sages are naturally inclined to do good to the common man. And when they see a personality like Maharaj Pariksit advance in devotional service, their pleasure knows no bounds. And they offer all blessings in their power. So they are non-envious. They are very happy to see somebody make spiritual advancement, becoming attached to Krishna, serving Krishna. Why? Because sages are para dukkha dukhi and para sukha sukhi. So when one serves Krishna, then he becomes very joyful. And seeing the joy of the devotee in serving Krishna, then the devotee, the sages, they also become very happy. Because they are happy. Seeing others' happiness, they are unhappy. Seeing others' unhappiness. So real happiness comes when we serve Krishna. Nate vidu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. People do not know, Prahlad Maharaj says that we do not know that our real self-interest lies in serving Vishnu, in Krishna. So such sages are naturally inclined to do good to the common man, and when they see a personality like Maharaj Pariksit in devotional service, their pleasure knows no bounds, and they offer all blessings in their power. The devotional service of the Lord is so auspicious that all demigods, all sages, and the Lord himself become pleased with the devotee. And therefore the devotee finds everything auspicious. In one way you can say everybody becomes pleased, because if you become a devotee, then all the generations are delivered. The forefathers who are suffering in hell are also delivered. So they will be very happy, right? If one of your forefathers will be very happy to get deliverance if you become a devotee, right? So, and therefore the devotee finds everything auspicious. Because everybody is pleased. Like in the Sadgo Swami Ashtakam, Dhira adhira jana priya karo. Both the gentle and ruffians, they considered the Goswamis as very dear to them. Even the ruffians, it is said. Of course, sometimes they attack also. All inauspicious matters are removed from the path of a progressive devotee. So Krishna will clear all the obstacles on the spiritual life. Meeting all the great sages at the time of death was certainly auspicious for Maharaj Pariksit. And meeting great souls at the time of death, surrounded by the great souls, was very auspicious. And thus he was blessed by the so-called curse of a Brahmana's boy. So this curse was a blessing in disguise. He cursed, but now that he has got the opportunity to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, all the great sages have come, and he's going to go back home, back to Godhead. Just like Nalaku and Manigriva being cursed by Narad Muni was also a blessing because they had the darshan of Krishna. Face to face they saw Krishna and they were seeing all the activities of Krishna in Vrindavan as trees, as the Yamal Arjun trees. They were seeing, witnessing all the pastimes of Krishna. So it was a curse, but it was a blessing. So it's a blessing if it is taking us to back to Godhead faster. Like Parvati cursing Chitraketu Maharaj is also a blessing because in one lifetime he became Vritrasur and then he went back home, back to Godhead. So although he was born in an Asura body, but it was a blessing. So like that, one can go back home, back to Godhead faster. Even Gajendra, Indradyumna, King Indradyumna, he was cursed by Agatsya Rishi. And he became an elephant and he was in the jaws of the crocodile and he surrendered to the Lord and then he went back home. So whatever takes us out of this material world faster is all auspicious. Because this is like a very difficult situation for the Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, this material world is no fit place for a gentleman to live. And we can see that in Kali Yuga, how many people are displaced now by the war. Overnight, in Gaza Strip, so many people, Israel is saying you have to evacuate overnight. 1 million people have to evacuate. It's going to become more and more miserable in this Kali Yuga. So we may say it is materially motivated to worship Lord because we are in misery. But Krishna himself has said, like twice in Bhagavad Gita he says, Mamupetya punarjanma dukhalayam asashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana sansittirs paramam gataha. And then in 9.33 he says, Anityam asukham lokam. This is temporary and asukham. So he has made it like that so we can turn to the Lord. That's why in heavenly planets it's difficult to turn to the Lord. But of course, when the devotee makes progress, he doesn't care. For him, the world is a happy place. As Prabodhananda Saraswati says, Vishwam Purnam Sukhayate. For him, it's a very happy place. Because he is liberated even in this material world. Na sochati na kangshati. He has no material desires. Bhukti mukti siddhi kami sakala shanta. Krishna bhakta nishkama ateva shanta. So those who don't have any material desires, they are very happy. Those who have material desires, they are not peaceful. So when you become Krishna bhakta, then Krishna removes, this chanting of the holy name removes all the material desires. Cheto darpana marjanam. And when material desires are gone, you are like very free from all the baggage. And you can serve Krishna very joyfully. Like so many devotees, they're traveling and serving Krishna very joyfully without any very blissful. Of course, whether you're traveling or not, that's not the point. But yeah, the more we become surrendered to Krishna, the more joyful. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Natural beauty of a living being is enhanced by rising to the platform of devotional service. So there is no lamentation, no hankering. You take everything as Krishna's mercy and you serve Krishna and get happiness. Because that is our natural situation, our constitutional situation, it is to become subordinate to the Lord. So child is happy if he depends on the parents, right? And he is assured of parents' protection. He has the faith. Krishna, my parents will protect me. So he has no anxiety. So the pure devotee also, Rakshashi Titi Vishwash. Krishna will Krishna will take care of me. Krishna says in many places in Bhagavad, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. How he will take care, it doesn't mean my body will survive, but he will protect my consciousness. I will always have the opportunity to render devotional service. So then he feels happy. Yes, Krishna will take care of me. In this life and beyond this life, he's there. So that way he's feeling very happy. So, okay, so we'll stop there. And, so everything inauspicious is removed. Right? Anybody like to say anything? I was remembering the Om apavitro pavitro va sarvavastam katopi va yas maret pundarikaksham sabaya abhyantara suchi. We recite this at the time of initiation. If you remember the lotus-eyed Lord, then you are purified both internally and externally. Having gone through all different situations of life, right? Sarva avastam gato piva. Yas maret pundari. Whether you are purified or you are not purified, pavitra or apavitra. Having gone through all situations in life, if one remembers the lotus-eyed Lord, Pundarikaksham, then he becomes purified both internally and externally. So, yeah, chanting Hare Krishna like that, then everything becomes auspicious. Kleshagni and Shubhada, these are the two characteristics of pure devotion. Shubhada means beginning of all auspiciousness. The moment you decide to take up Krishna consciousness, that's the beginning of all auspiciousness. So, one devotee was saying, you are putting a book in somebody's hand, maybe the most important event that happened in that person's life in 1,000,000 years. Because now if he reads the book, and then maybe his journey back home, back to Godhead will start. So your bringing somebody to Krishna is the most auspicious event for that person. Of course, we should not think we are the doers, but Krishna is ultimately inspiring that person to come. So, but we can be the instrument. Nimitta matra bhava savya sachin. As Arjuna was told that you become an instrument. I have already done everything. Krishna is saying, you become an instrument and take the glory. So, Prabhupada said, Lord Chaitanya could have done it himself, but he reserved the credit for me. So, like that is it. Of course, in a humble way, not that proud, but okay, so we'll stop here. Anything else I would like to say? So, should we read more or should we stop?
No, I just wanted one thing, Prabhu, that I really liked your point about how, when we are surrendered to Krishna and Krishna takes care of us, that doesn't mean that Krishna will, keep this body alive or nothing will happen to us, like in whatever happens in the material world. I was hearing this one class, a devotee, and he was saying something very similar, that what is protection in this material world when we are praying for protection from the Lord. So if we are saying that, okay, protect this body or protect my material possessions or whatever is the material level, so that it is only we are setting ourselves up for disappointment, because it's nothing can be saved. Everybody succumbs to injury, disease, illness, and even the material possession. Today we have something, tomorrow we will not have. So Krishna is not. He can if he wants to, but he knows that's not the most beneficial thing for us. So he's least bothered about that. And when we are praying for protection from the Lord, it's not that okay, protect me from all these problems in the material world, but it is that before even prayers, the mood should be that I'm already protected. I'm already only protect me when I'm in an unprotected situation, when I'm forgetting the Lord, or if I'm offending devotees, or if I'm acting or behaving in a very non-Vaishnava like. So that is the time when Krishna is like, okay, you are on your own. So that devotee was saying that prayers for protection when we are dragged into situations when we lose our intelligence and we behave in non-Vaishnava like way.
We need protection from our own anarthas.
Right.
Basically, yeah, our anarthas are very. So sometimes, yeah, anarthas also, like, because of those anarthas, Krishna puts us in a very humble situation. And in this way also he protects us so that we don't become puffed up and offend everybody else. So, like Indra is a devotee, so he becomes proud, so then Krishna has to correct. So he humiliates Indra. But that is also protection because he's protecting the consciousness of Indra. So sometimes we get humiliation or something like that, then that is also protection. Because otherwise we'll become too proud and very arrogant and feel I'm the most advanced devotee, and then we will offend others and things like that. So Krishna keeps us in humble situation, and in humble situation we can cry to Krishna. We can access Krishna's mercy. So that is protection also.
Yeah. So thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you for giving the opportunity to speak about Bhagavatam. Okay. So
this is a perfect example of a surrenderness, right, Prabhu? Because the devotees always surrender. Like they see Krishna in every situation. So for devotee, everything becomes auspicious, and like how the devotees go with the plan of Krishna, the will of Krishna, and that there is a verse in seventh canto. Actually, this verse is talking about that those who are satisfied or self-satisfied. I was thinking some other way. This verse is saying that I just know the first line, Sada Santushta Manasa, something like that. But this verse is explaining that the person who have a suitable shoes on his feet, there is no danger even he walk on the pebbles or thorn. For him, they are everything is auspicious. So here says that the devotional service of the Lord is so auspicious because the devotees are always engaged in the nine process of the devotional processes and services of the Lord. So for them there is no danger. They know that Krishna will protect in every situation. If any situations come, so there will be something in this situation. Either we can learn from that situation, or it will be good, something good. Maybe later on we can know, right? Because that's what Prithu Maharaj is praying like that. Praying that do whatever you think good for me, because we cannot maybe think that what is good for us. And in every situation, Krishna pleased, Krishna protect, Krishna called as Satvatam Patihi, right? He's a protector of the devotees. So one should try to be surrendered and go with the plan and will of the Lord.
yeah, and sometimes we do wrong things also, and then Krishna teaches us
Right.
Through that comes repentance, and like Ajamil, for instance, he was devotee in the beginning, and but then repentance came, and then he became more like surrendered and determined to take shelter of the Lord. So that is also Krishna's plan only in one way. Of course, we don't want to do wrong things, but this material world is like that, and even if we do, then Krishna will, in our heart, we will feel repentant, and then we will feel more like asking the Lord for forgiveness, and then we'll remember the Lord more, and then we will become reformed because of that, and then we'll take shelter of the Lord. Krishna, please protect me, and so we will become more surrendered like that. So Krishna will use that way also. He puts his devotees in helpless situation. Yasyaham anugrinami harishya tadhanam shanai. Of course, for great devotees. For us, little bit, but for the great devotees like Srila Prabhupada, he took away everything from him, so that he comes to take exclusive shelter of Krishna. Harishya tadhanam shanai tato adhanam tyajanti yasya svajana dukkha dukkhitam. When Prabhupada was laughing, oh, Krishna is so kind, he took away everything from me. I am now.
Like the Avanti Brahmanas, right? They took away everything.
Correct. Yeah. So.
I like the point that he, in the Prabhupada, says that all inauspicious matters are removed from the path of progressive devotee. So, all the inauspicious things will removed by Krishna when someone take up this. Someone had desire to advancing in the spiritual path, and go on that path and advancing on that path. So Krishna knows that okay, you are sincere, and someone is determined to go on that path. So all the inauspicious things or something which can hurdle or obstruct that path, so Krishna will remove that path. Whatever thing is the matter. So in this way, like sometimes Krishna fulfills the desires, and sometimes he didn't. Because if someone like who was a Shabri Muni, right, who was meditating under the water, and he had desire to enjoy just by seeing the fish mating, right? So he fulfilled that desire, and then at the end he find no happiness. So it also says like that if someone has a strong desire, so Krishna maybe fulfill that one, but at the end this leads only frustration. So one can understand that okay, whatever the material desires we have, ultimately this leads to frustration. Either it fulfills or not.
Correct. Yeah, the purpose of material world is to frustrate the living entity in his desires for enjoyment independent of the Lord, so that he can turn to the Lord. Yeah, that's the purpose. So sometimes we are frustrated, that's good. That means that the purpose of material world is being achieved. Why this material world is created is to frustrate the living entity so that he will turn to God. Okay, so we stop there.